All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So here is the Microsoft Surface Duo. So I did this fancy unboxing and all this other stuff, and I thought, man, I'm getting ready to use this thing. So I have the 6 gig, 256 gig model, and let's get the conversation going. So I've been using this for several hours now. It's been a while. I've been using this, and I wanted to give you my honest first impressions. So let's start with the hardware. This is what you see when you take this out of the box. It is absolutely just so beautiful. It is just gorgeous. This hinge is a hinge that's like from a laptop. It's incredible. It's so strong and sturdy. It's the hinge on a folding device like this that you want. This is absolutely ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It's great. So the hinge, whoo, I love it. I love the hardware. On the bottom here, as you can see, you have just a Type-C. It's like this thing is so thin, it's pretty much the thickness of a Type-C when it's open. On this side here, you've got the fingerprint reader right here, and you've got a power button and a volume rocker. And that's it. There's no outside display. There's no nothing. That's nothing. So you got this peeking mode right here. You can kind of see, you can unlock it and then you can open it up. You can kind of see like if there's some notifications or something sometimes over there, or you can see the time basically. So here is, I've got all my apps installed. I'm golden. The device performance. A lot of people talked about it having the Snapdragon 8 4055 in its last year's processor, and it's trash. I totally disagree with that. This processor has been flowing along. I did gaming. I did a whole bunch of things, watch movies. It's flowing. There's nothing wrong with the processor in this device. And a person who tells you that it is, I just think they're being a little stickler about it. Now, the performance is good. You can open 2 apps at once. And boom, here we are. True Lips. Got this Pixel 4a right there with a little skin on it. But you can open 2 apps at once, and you can view 2 apps at once. And the performance is there. It's fine. It's running like a phone that's running 2 apps. And that's generally how I feel about it. I love being able to have 2 apps open at once. As you notice here, the bar on the bottom, it moves. Like depending on when you open something up, it'll move. So if I just go in here and I just open up, see how I'm opening up the bar down here? I can get it, there we go. And I'll talk about the gestures in a minute. When you open up something, this slides over. It slides over and then it'll go back once you go back like this. Now, if you want to open up a web browser, it's gonna move over. Here's where the phone, I think people are getting agitated with this, is the gestures. If you want to, it's gonna take some patience to get this some of these gestures down. That's ultimately all it is. When you're viewing it like this, content is beautiful, man. It looks like a much bigger display than it really is, obviously. Well, it's 8.1, obviously, but the large bezels on the side, it's definitely, now that I have it in hand and in person, it's definitely a dated design as far as the hardware inside the screen, but they're not as big as what you think. Like when you're looking at it in real time, you're not looking at the bezels, but you do acknowledge that they're there. So that's something that's it could take you some getting used to. Now, I like that when I have Outlook open, I can have Outlook over here, and then you have to put Outlook in the center. And I don't personally want to open up my emails because I can tell. Let me open an email up. Let me see if I can. No, I got some personal stuff in there, and I don't need to share all of that. However, email on this side and the message side is over here. So when you're replying over here, you get to still look at the message. You don't have to try to remember what you were replying with. Everybody does this. They're like, oh shoot, what was that? And you got to leave the email, go back to the other message, unless if you can't see it in the quoted section. So the gestures and using 2 apps and using a single app, Microsoft has integrated this completely to work with their stuff. That's it. I'm going to answer the question that some people have asked. You can't change the icon pack and you can't change the launcher. You can't do any of that. If you put a launcher on this device, it's going to go crazy. It'll let you put it on there, but I put on my favorite launchers, Pix launcher and Nova launcher, and it doubled them up. It overlaid on top of Microsoft's software, and it wouldn't go away. So it does not allow anything like that. But if you're getting this, you're not getting it as an Android phone. You're getting this as a device that has Android capabilities. because obviously it's a phone second and it's definitely a camera second. So let's talk about the cameras. Video on this thing, it reminds me of, you know how when you shoot video on the V60, that software problem it had, where it turns like orange or whatever when you try to edit it on something else. That's what happens with this phone. When I pull the video and stuff off, it just doesn't look as good. Photos look great on here though. I gotta tell you, I was surprised at this single camera. If you get this out into the elements, you're gonna notice that these cameras are great for just regular still shots. Portrait shots, I love it. I think it's great. I don't see a problem with it, but honestly, video fails. Video is definitely not a strong suit for this phone. And I like video, so I won't be able to use this to shoot videos for the channel, at least not yet. Now, the gestures. Another gesture is when you flip this over, you double tap like this and it'll come to the other side. So I'm gonna set up a fingerprint reader on with my other hand here. These are the settings, by the way. Security, and let's go with fingerprints, and let's move off for a second. Now I'm going to add a fingerprint. I'm going to add this thumb, because you want to add both your thumbs since the device can flip all the way around 360 degrees. Add both your thumbs, and I saved adding this thumb. I've added these two fingers and I added this finger, and now I'm adding the thumb, because you want to be able to unlock the device anywhere. So there you go. You see how fast it is. Come on, buddy. There you go. And again, with the unlocking thing, this is going to come down to where you're swiping from. Some people are swiping from the bottom and it's messing up. You have to start right there. You have to start swiping right there. On the taskbar, the little bar along the bottom, that's where you need to start typing. Like, so around where it says my Bible and phone, start moving from there. Then you'll get the smooth unlock or a flow of the app tray that you're looking for on Android phones. It's going to take some getting used to, because you do have this large bezel at the bottom, and you're going to be thinking, oh shoot, you know, man, this thing doesn't work. So you need to start pulling from there. As you can see, it works. It works almost all the time. It doesn't work all the time because I start swiping from the bottom down here. Now, I got a feeling that if you look at the hinge, they've got a little bit more room for display, and they'll do it on the next generation. I can see why a lot of people are saying, I can't wait to see the second version. It's just a natural thing to say when you're physically holding this device. A lot of people said that gesture doesn't work very well. And this is a right hand or left hand phone for whoever, because, you know, you got your fingerprint reader that goes on both sides technically. So, but I can understand the gestures. Now, a problem that I had when viewing video is I was trying to put it in tent mode, and it wouldn't go into tent mode, man. It wouldn't go. Let me fire up something here and get something going for you. Go to my videos, and the speaker, by the way, is on the weaker side. Yeah, let's see. So I try to put it in tent mode. Now, it works right now when I, that's how it works, man. If you're trying to do something, either it works on camera or off camera. That's just how it goes. So putting it in tent mode, I was struggling with this before. But let's go ahead and play this video, and I'm going to play the speaker for you. It has one speaker, and that's a huge downfall. The speaker's back here. So here's the problem I was having when I would close and try to get the video over here. And I say that video's not totally what you think. You probably think, oh guys, he doesn't like the phone. No. Phone's great. See how that video's not playing anymore? And so the speaker's on this side. So if I go like this here and stop and get the video back, basically what I'm telling you is when you're watching video, start it on the left side of the screen if you want to go into tent mode and have the speaker facing you. Start the video on the left side of the screen so you can have this single speaker facing you. The speaker isn't bad, it's just only one. It would have been nice to have a speaker on the bottom down here, or at least coming out of the bottom, but I'm gonna put the speaker next to the microphone.
And before I get this video going,
it's solid. That's the problem I was having. So, but it's not to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is trash. But I understand. I'm not gonna sit on this video and tell you I don't understand your frustrations. If that's happening to you, I totally get it. I understand why a person will be upset because you got this large part on the bottom here, and you're wanting to swipe from the bottom when you need to be starting from right there. Got it? This software isn't sluggish all the time, but I think when using the device, you're going to get to a point where you just get so used to starting down here, and this is absolutely nothing. Now, this is the first time that I'll go on record and say this is probably a wasted space, but I know they had to make room for the hinge, and this is a thin device. So there's a little slit down here, and that's just going to be for phone calls for the microphone more than likely. Because if you notice, there's no holes on here for the microphone. There's none. There's no holes anywhere. And if you look right, you probably can't even see it, but right there at the bottom, there's a little hole for the microphone. You see, I put that finger right there. But nonetheless, folks, the experience is great. The experience is good. Let's look at some wallpapers, and if there's any questions you want to know, I'll answer them. So let's choose a wallpaper here. Ooh, these are beautiful. Here's another thing that you might run into. You might run into a situation where there's just not wallpapers that can span across this 8.1 inch screen. So we'll look at the wallpapers. Let's go this one. So you can get lock screen and home screen, blah, 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 same thing. You know, there's just going to be a situation where you just say, I need to find a good wallpaper and I don't want to use theirs. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to load up one of my favorite wallpapers here. Let's go in here. Let's go to wallpaper, and I'm going to put on my favorite wallpaper.
My photos right there.
And you see how it's adjusting itself now? You see how it's doing that? You got to make the adjustments how you want it, son. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it down like this so I can get all of it, and then you can see how it spans across. So you see, you can put a separate wallpaper on here, but look at how it looks. You know what I'm saying? So you got to adjust it. I like how it fades up like that too. So the Microsoft Surface Duo is fire. It's nice. Let me put the other one back because it doesn't align right. So let's go ahead and put a default wallpaper on here. Which, let's try this one. Oh, that's just gorgeous, man. And this is an AMOLED display, by the way. That's just beautiful, man. That is beautiful. The only issues that I have so far, now let's call out some of the things that it doesn't have. No NFC, no wireless charging, no headphone jack, no stereo speakers, one camera, no external display to check and see. It would have been nice if you just had a little display up here or something like that. That would have been cool. But, you know, no NFC, you know, no wireless charge, all these things for $1,500. Only thing I can tell you is I understand. I understand if you're frustrated and, you know, you don't have those things. But if you bought this phone, you knew going into it that you didn't have those things. So I don't know why you would possibly expect that. But I think that argument is coming from people who don't have the phone. They're just watching videos on it and they're complaining in the comments about what it doesn't have without buying it. So, but if you don't want to buy this phone, totally respect that, son. I totally respect that. I got you. I got you. So there it is, man. My first impressions and kind of a detailed walkthrough. Let me show you the settings real quick. It's just beautiful. After a while, you'll get used to swiping over there. So here's the settings. I'll go ahead and close this. I wonder, let's check something here. Let's check something. Let's go into settings on this side. Let's see if I do something like it'll appear over here. No, it doesn't. Okay. Okay. That was wishful thinking. So let's just close it up. Let's go here. If you want to get your what's the name, recents, then you can start to swipe from way down there. That's how you get your recents. So okay, got it. Now here are the settings. You got your network, your connection devices and everything. You got the Surface accessories. Obviously, you can do the headphones, and you can do the Link 2. You got the Surface Pen that works. You got your apps, your notifications, and all this in here. And then you got your sound. The sound on here, that's my ringtone. It's pretty good, but remember that speaker is coming from the back side because that's where it's at. So let's tap this and put it over here. And you see how it's no longer where it was at just a second ago? It should have continued right here. It's a loud enough speaker for what it's doing, son. It's just that, you know, I'm waiting on Microsoft to give me some software updates. So I showed you the wallpapers, the display. You can see the brightness is at 74 right now. Security, privacy, same old Android stuff. There's really not a lot of Microsoft stuff in here, but you know, we'll see how this battery lasts too, because it's actually, and I'm on the September 5th security patch, so it's got the latest security patch. Right when you open the box up, it doesn't allow you to move forward, and you have to do the software update. Here's my 256 gigs. Yeah, battery. You know what I'm saying? I've been loving you. What you know about that? Y'all youngsters don't know about that. But yeah, this is where we're at, man. This is what we're working with. Either you love it or you hate it. Either you're going to get really frustrated with it, or you're going to say, you know what? It'll work eventually. But I do understand for those people that just saying, nah, Jay, ain't no way I'm going to spend that kind of money. And then I got to, you know, wait on them to update it. But this isn't the first time stuff like this has happened. There's always going to be something to where the software is going to need an update. That's just how it goes. So this is the Microsoft Surface Duo, a phone that I was highly anticipating and really wanted. And I'm going to use this as a daily driver. I'm going to finish charging it. And we'll see how this works out. I will update you. Now, if you just listen to my first impressions of this, you can see I'm not praising this phone. It's a great, the only downside so far is it needs improvements on the camera, and it needs improvements on the software when navigating through the system. We got to get that in check, Microsoft. But other than that, this is a beast mode device. I'm glad I have it in house, and I appreciate you watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.